Okay. Alrighty then. Hi, welcome back to Who is the Red Queen? Last off, we left at. We found a limb. We found the one arm. I already forget if it was the left or right. I don't think they mentioned it, but okay. Also, I apologize because after watching the first one, I realized how fast I was reading. Yeah, it was very cringy, but my eyes read so much faster than my mouth can keep up. So I will do my best to try and slow down this time and to try and be more clear. So I apologize again. Also, I really, really love the landscape painting so far. I don't think I sang its praises at all, but I mean, just look at this. It looks really, really pretty, and I love it. But okay, before I knew it, the day passed. I looked toward the sky where the sun had begun to set. Letting out a yawn, I realized I needed a place to sleep for the night. Oh? Oh. I thought back to the parties who had helped me onto my adventure to gather the Red Queen's dismembered parts. Surely I could find one of them. Okay. Let's sleep at the Hatters. Oh, there's a question mark. At this point, I don't even pay attention to what the music soundtrack names are, just the highlighted symbols or letters. I headed back to the Hatter's place. Oh, the moonlight filtered through the trees and lit the table. The tea and cakes were all put away. Oh, there she is. As before, I found her at a table full of tea stuffs. She nursed a cup of tea and waved at me upon spotting me. Hello. Hi. Ooh, that is a good bait. Ah, just in time for tea, Alice. I don't... What was the voice again? Somewhat Irish, I guess. Just in time for tea, Alice. I shouldn't be doing... It sounds stereotypical when I say it like that. From the sky, tea time should have already passed. Perhaps this was more like supper time. So I only flashed her a smile without saying anything. I've returned with a limb. Congratulations. She grinned. I handed her the Red Queen's limb, which began to move upon entering the Hatter's hand. Holding it away from herself, the Hatter seemed to think of what to do with it next. She kicked the dog cage out from under a chair. Clicking the metal hatch open, she tossed the limb into it and quickly flicked the cage shut again. The Hatter sneered. Also, I have this new mug. Well, no, it's not new. It was my mom's old mug. It is a Winnie the Pooh mug, actually. And I thought it's more appropriate for the game. Sit down. I'd be a poor host if I didn't let you sit. Okay, let's try that again. Sit down. I'd be a poor host if I didn't let you sit. I plopped down into the armchair. This was my chair now. I glanced around and found I didn't see the two puppets that the Hatter wore on her hands earlier in the day. Where are your friends? I gestured with my hands. They've gone home for a bit. Marsh lives all the way over there in the house with ears. As for whose ears they are, I haven't a clue. Are you hungry for rodent, Alice? No. If you say so, Alice. She poured me a cup of tea and slid... What is with my... And slid the tea, cup, and saucer over to me, nearly spilling it over my lap. Soon after came another plate. On the plate was steak and vegetables. Aw, thank you. For a brief moment, the Hatter appeared lonely. Again, as usual. I should hope this isn't rodent. Is it? She winked with a grin. It's something else. The Hatter didn't continue, but glanced over at the Red Queen's flesh, of course. My eyes followed the path of her gaze. Not spotting any steak-sized slabs of meat sliced off from the torso of the queen I sought, I let out a sigh. Her eyes were narrowed. Taking a knife and fork, I cut the steak and moved a piece to my mouth. It tasted like beef. Compliments to the chef. She smiled. Why, thank you. We ate together. For a hatter, her table manners with the forks and knives were impeccable, but each time I fought to compliment them, she went and said something odd again. The hatter was a mystery to unravel. I don't have a place to stay for the night, so I wanted to ask if you would put up with me for the night. I put up with you all the time. What difference does night make? Where I come from, people sleep at night. Sleep? You can sleep under the table or spread a blanket on the ground, or just sleep on that armchair you're sitting in now. Isn't sleep just when you pretend to be dead like everyone else? Is this why you don't sleep? The hatter had terrible bags under her eyes, as I doubted she slept too much. She could only have been sleeping too little. She frowned, upset. Look at the time. Is it really time? Oh shit. Alright, it's already almost. It's 5:43. Shit. Look at the time. Is it really time to sleep? Napping at a tea time will destroy your inner clock, don't you know? Morning, afternoon, evening. Since it's all tea time, it's better not to sleep. That's not a good... I thought you didn't care about time. Yeah. The hatter sneered. Time doesn't care about me. Ooh. Are you perhaps afraid of sleeping? She gave me a somber smile. What do you think, Alice? She poured herself a drink from a bottle into her teacup. I turned to look at the bottle, which was in no way for tea. I couldn't read the jumbled words scrawled across its label, so I couldn't help but ask, is that actually alcohol? Tea. Isn't it alcohol? Tea. She drank her tea, and I did mine. The conversation turned to silence. I shouldn't have pushed and upset my dear host. I wanted to pet her head and apologize, for she could drink or sleep as she wanted. As I reached out, the hatter recoiled. No touchy, Alice, don't do that. There was a frown on her face. Oh, 2 for 2. I keep getting distracted by our cat. Okay. ... She pushed her chair back from the table, taking the chance to move away. Then she dipped underneath the tablecloth, rummaging through her stuff with a rustling noise. When she popped back out, she held a blanket, which she tossed my way. Her expression turned even more distraught, her frown wobbly. Oof. Didn't you want to pretend to be dead right now? Go play dead. Oof. Catching it in my arms, I smelled the sweet scent from the soft blanket. The sky was dark. I started to feel sleepy, hugging the blanket a little tighter. I had experienced a long day after all, so perhaps it was time to go to bed. Good night, Hatta. I wondered if she was mad, if she would respond. But she did. Good night, Alice. I leaned back comfortably in the armchair and began to sink. Sinking. Contrary to my earliest expectations, I didn't keep sinking forever. Oh, the moment I looked up at the sky, I found I couldn't fall asleep anymore. I didn't recognize the stars, the constellations that adorned the dark heavens. Tracing their infinite sparkles, I wondered who they stood for. I wanted to understand what was hidden past those mismatched eyes of the hatter. While counting the stars, I eventually fell asleep. Nice. I dreamed of falling. Oh, okay, we're back here. Search for the Red Queen. I think I already got that one. The next day and the day after, I continued my search for the Red Queen's parts. Once again, I was walking down the forest path. Remembering that the Cheshire Cat mentioned the White Queen, I decided to give the Queen a second visit. I thought that I could easily replicate the route to her garden, having only recently been there. However, the more I walked, the more apparent it became that I was lost. I passed that tree to the right a handful of times already. I was going in circles, getting nowhere closer to that beautiful garden and its equally pretty owner. Jesus, keep it together, Alice. I let out a sigh and chose a bush at random to walk through instead of following a path. My cloak saved me from being scratched by the leaves and branches of the bushes. I came out on the other side to a particularly tall tree and a large birdcage. Oh. I spotted the White Queen inside the birdcage. Behind her was a limb, a leg. Oh dang, I don't know if my face is covering the White Queen's face. She sat with a distressed expression as she looked up at my looming figure. Hello? We meet again, Alice. I hadn't expected that I would be trapped here again. I'm a little embarrassed that you're seeing me like this. I contemplated just asking for the leg and leaving. True. No, that would be a terribly foul thing to do, especially to a pretty person like her. Jesus, Alice, keep it together. Although in a way, it almost seemed like a good idea to leave a pretty bird locked up in a cage all for oneself. Okay, I didn't mean like that. Good lord. After all, how would you catch her if you let her go free? Alice. Is that the Red Queen's right leg? So it would appear. To find the Red Queen, you may have to find her parts as well. Even so, she should be able to help you find your way back home. I'm sorry, Alice. Don't apologize. The key to my prison is atop the towering tree. Would you help me open this cage, Alice? Yes, of course. Agreeing to the request, I walked over to the tall tree that the White Queen gestured toward. How tall it was, I couldn't say. If I angled my head and squinted, I could see the glimmering of a silver key at a high branch above. I circled the tree, the front and the back, the sides left and right. They all looked equally hard to climb. Oh! As I pondered on how to scale the tree, a little bird approached. It was fat and pink with beady eyes and a tiny black beak. I'm not gonna chirp chirp. Chirp chirp. With all of the talking animals and not quite animals in Wonderland, I had an inkling that this one might speak as well. Perhaps it spoke French, like a French bird. Bonjour. Oh god. Bonjour. Uh-oh. Unfortunately, I knew little French. My practice had grown rusty, so much that the tutors would be ashamed. But I tried to pull out at least one more phrase. Où est ma chatte? Shit, I don't know. I don't know if I said that right.
Où est ma chatte?
Chirp. I must have said the wrong words as the poor bird began to tremble. Parlez-vous anglais?
Parlez-vous anglais?
Anglais? Fuck, I don't know. I'm so sorry if there's any French people listening to this. Yes, yes, chirp, chirp. Cats? No cats, please. What are you doing? What are you doing? Chirp, chirp. I'm trying to get that key up there. What are you doing, little bud? Chirp, just having lots of fun every day. Not doing anything in particular. Now that the Red Queen, Her Majesty, is missing, Wonderland is so much more wonderful. We can play and frolic as we want. Chirp, chirp. Auntie Bird got in trouble for breaking Her Majesty's laws, and now there's no more Auntie Bird. Oh, good lord. Chirp, chirp. I was so sad. So sad. Her Majesty was so scary. So scary. You won't tell on me, right? Chirp. I think that last chirp was a bit too demanding. Chirp, chirp. You look like a nice person, Chirp. Much nicer than her. Much nicer than her. Oh, I see. I'll help you with the key. Chirp. Chirp. I shouldn't be... Puffing out its little chest, the bird flapped its wings and took off upward into the sky. It flew and flew and flew, but soon enough became tired. Not reaching the key on the tree, the bird faltered and fluttered back down. It dipped its head in disappointment. Sorry, I couldn't do it. Chirp. Kill the bird, Alice. No, pet the bird. But I do wonder. Shit, I should have saved. Could I? Okay, there's no option to save. Maybe there is an option to save, but don't worry about it. I rubbed the little bird's head, causing it to peek up at me with its large, round eyes, glittering with surprise. Yes, baby? After the failed first attempt at the key, I returned to the White Queen's side. I still have no idea what this is. She looked fitting in the cage. Pretty. Like a flower preserved forever in glass. Again, I thought that she was beautiful. Really, she was beautiful. That's true, Alice. Alice? Even so, I couldn't let her stay trapped. Not to mention the Red Queen's leg. I wasn't able to find a way up. Do you have any ideas for what I should do, White Queen? Over there are some mushrooms. Oh yeah, I forget. This is a Wonderland story. Of course there are mushrooms. If you eat the ones to the left, you will grow. If you eat the ones to the right, you will shrink. I think they will be helpful. Magic mushrooms? I was hesitant to eat mushrooms picked from unknown wilderness, but I felt that I could trust the White Queen. Why? I didn't know. Well, this is Wonderland, isn't it? I had forgotten something important. The feeling of forgetting tingled in the back of my mind whenever I saw the White Queen. Finding the mushroom she pointed out, I faced a choice. There was a little yellow one with black spots and stem, and a large purple one with white spots and stem. Let's grow. Let's get the key. I ate the left mushroom and immediately began to grow. My line of sight rose higher and higher, as if I were a bean sprout. Once I stopped growing, I could reach the top of the towering tree if I reached out my arm. Fantastic. My clothes grew with me. Okay, good. I cautiously pinched the silver key and removed it from the tree, holding it lightly so as to not break it with my now giant hands. The key I now had, but the cage I could not open. I was much too big. The magic will wear off. In the meanwhile, would you accompany me to chat, Alice? That may be for the best. I would have to wait till I reverted back to my original size to open the door. Is the invitation for tea sometimes still open? Yes, always. Then, shall I ask about what sorts of foods and tea you'd like to drink to see what I might expect? What's your favorite tea? White tea, naturally. Do you prefer black tea still? How did you know? We chatted for a while about tea, and at some point the conversation turned to flowers. Perhaps it was that she felt ambivalently. What's that word? Ambivalently on floral teas. You are welcome to visit the garden anytime. I couldn't find the way to the garden today. Perhaps getting lost had been for the better, as I found her in the end. Yes, that happens when I'm not there. But Wonderland should lead you my way if you think of me. At least for you, Alice. Ooh, that's a good system. I have nowhere to be but the garden. How about the castle? Yes, hello? I guess I have my own personal White Queen over here as well. Lisa? What is it? What is it? This is Sisu? What is it? Oh, okay. Alright, wanna go outside? She paused, looking at something in the distance that I could not see. Would you believe me if I told you I can see the future? Yeah. I looked her in the eyes and ascertained a calm surety. I didn't feel that she would lie, yet I couldn't quite believe her words either. I wondered what I had forgotten, what I was doubting. Rather than answer, I decided to play along. Can you change the future, you see? Why do you ask? Otherwise, isn't it lonesome? I don't believe that the future is predestined, but the solitude of such a power would also be the fate of a queen in this world. Her words sounded contradictory. Even for the Red Queen. Especially for the Red Queen. The White Queen spoke of fate as if it was still trapped by something more than just this birdcage. I couldn't understand. We talked a little longer. I felt a tingling of my arms and began to revert to my usual size. The world warped and finally popped back into its proper place. I twirled around to check that all was well. Identifying no issues, I picked up the key that I dropped to the ground at some point and inserted it into the lock of the White Queen's birdcage. With a smooth click, the cage unlocked. I opened the door. Hello, Your Majesty. The White Queen stumbled out of the birdcage. Her legs still wobbly from sitting in the cage for so long. She let me hold her steady till she rebalanced herself. Yes. Yes. Is there anything you need? Sisa? Sisa? Thank you. You're welcome. I ought to return to the garden now, but my invitation is always open, Alice. I'll see you later if you're willing. And there's the leg. She handed me the Red Queen's leg. It was dressed in a black tight, the shoe red and tied to the ankle with ribbon. Freed from the birdcage, the White Queen departed to return to her garden. Down the rabbit hole, I got the L, yeah. After wandering around some more, I returned to the Hatter's place with the second limb in hand. Let's do a quick save here. The day came to an end, but the Hatter's clock remained at tea time. She was arguing with her own hand puppet about some sort of song, some rendition of Twinkle Twinkle. The hair on her hand was flung back and forth. Oh. Where are you going? Go up. And... up us. Up. Oh, okay. I waited it out, seeing she started laughing by herself halfway through. Apparently, she couldn't sing. Her expression was a bit lonely. Again, okay, a little bit repetitive. I mean, I'm liking the story so far, but there are... Okay, no, I'll save the critiques for the last. Once her shoulders stopped shaking, the Hatter turned to me. She gave me an awkward smile. Alice, you voyeur. You voyeur? What does voyeur mean again? Oh, like an eavesdrop? Is that... No. Voyeurism. I forget what voyeur means. Alice, you voyeur. I see you've brought a second one. That one is 1, and this one is 2. Good work. The Hatter clapped her wrists half a dozen times. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Alice, won't you join us for tea again today? Hatter made scones. It has butter. Oh, sleepy. Okay. Thank you for the invitation. Dormouse. Another lonely but happy expression briefly flashed on the Hatter's face. That's the exclamation point. Upon my response to the Dormouse, she immediately brightened up. If it would make the Hatter happy, I didn't see why not just play along. Leg. Setting aside her puppet friends, she extended an open palm toward me. Proceeded to commit lèse-majesté, like this,
lèse-majesté,
by tossing the limb over the Hatter's tea table to her. I took a seat in my armchair, seeing her clumsily catch it in her arms. At my seat, there was already a cup of tea prepared. With her free hand, the Hatter opened up the dog cage and retrieved the other limb. Do you need any help with that? She winked. I have everything under control. Without another pause, the Hatter stuck the limbs onto the Red Queen's torso. The flesh sounded with a squelch as the muscle, skin, and bone began to knit into place. Still, a red line remained where the limbs connected. I took a bite of scone. As the Hatter said, it had butter. The Red Queen's incomplete body twitched, something squirming under the skin. I spread some clotted cream and jam onto the scone. A perfect blend of sweetness made me wonder where she got the jam. It was very red. Ow! The Hatter became disgruntled, frowning. A single arm grabbed at the Hatter, smacking as it squirmed. Rude. The Hatter kicked the incomplete Red Queen, rendering the limbed hunk of meat paralyzed with shock. The Hatter forced its limbs off. A bit of blood and something else dripped onto the ground. Uh-oh. Gripping the writhing limbs in her hands, the Hatter popped open the dog cage door with her feet and chucked them in. With a thud, into the cage the arm and leg went. Good scouts. Okay, that's some good comedy right there. Okay, thank you. You mentioned you also had some business with the Red Queen, Hatta. But what is it? Something to do with red. Something to do with flesh. I realized that I didn't quite know. She gave a wide smile. A personal matter, Alice. I prefer you don't pry. I was the one gathering the pieces, so of course I wanted to know. Then again, the Hatter could just as well put the corpse together herself. A better question was how she obtained the first chunk of meat, but I doubted she would answer. I was curious. After all, not every Hatter keeps the Red Queen's dismembered body at their table, much less treats it like you do. The White Rabbit is searching for the Red Queen right now, you see. And the Red Queen is right here. At least, part of her was. No one likes the White Rabbit. Why didn't you tell her, Alice? Good point. Well, I didn't feel like it. The White Rabbit was boring. I had the feeling that telling her anything about the corpse sitting with us wouldn't help me much. You saved me from the dungeon. In that dark, dank place, I had not enough for the cold. Dungeons here aren't for keeping but for killing. I see. Let's commit... How do I say that? Lèse-majesté. Lèse-majesté together? Surely the Red Queen will forgive us for piecing her together. I much prefer this, Mad Hatter. No, Alice. This is much closer to blasphemy. We have no choice but to beg the wrathful god for forgiveness, don't you know? I couldn't help but think of Osiris, the judge of the dead, cut to pieces by his own brother. Even a god king, rather a god queen, could be chopped up and rendered helpless. I'm so fortunate that I was recently researching Osiris as well. I won't explain further. The tutors will be proud of me for remembering. Is that so? It'll be good working with you, Hatta. I offered a hand to shake. Seeing her hesitation, I expected her to reject my outstretched hand, but she instead grabbed my finger with an expression filled with uncertainty. I thought that she would try to pull my finger off. However, she only gripped me weakly and shook it up and down before letting go once more. Oh, well, she does wear gloves, right? She was a bit gloomier for the time after. No skin contact? Okie doke. Night fell, and another day ended. Nice. What did I dream of? I must have forgotten. Only 2 more limbs, and the head remained. I continued on my adventure to collect the Red Queen, so that I could finally meet her and find a way back home. Step, step, step. I walked around this upside-down world. So where's the music? In between my explorations of Wonderland, I chatted with the Hatter, and she made a certain inquiry. What do you want to go to back at? Well, reading. Okay. What do you want to go back to at home? ... What indeed? Alice, Alice, what was waiting for you at home? I counted off my fingers. 2 sisters, 2 cats, a large empty home, books, and tutors. With my sisters, Laurie and Edie, I was not particularly close. The older Lorena and the younger Edith, intelligent Lorena and precocious Edith. They seemed to live in their own world apart from Alice. I preferred cats, a white cat and a black cat. The former was cute, a little beauty like the White Queen, and the latter a little devil. As for the books, our library seemed endless. We had so many books that I could drown. Maybe a pile had collapsed on me and I was dying. Maybe a pile had collapsed on me and I was dying, suffocating under the pages so terribly that I fell into Wonderland. The tutors would be so mad that the books were ruined. I winced at the phantom stinging the back of my legs. The poor ruler, I could already see it go red. That was my world. A boring, normal, plain world where animals didn't talk and corpses didn't move. Where I hadn't needed to think of much at all. I was Alice, and that place was Alice's place. ... question mark. ... I fiddled with my fingers, grasping for the correct expression to wear. A smile was always safe. I'll be off, then. Step, step, step. Ooh, Alice. My predictions are slightly off now. I wonder if she'll stay in Wonderland. I traversed about this place, which was not Alice's place. My place. Uh-oh. What's going on? Search for the Red Queen. I already have the scene from there. Once again, I was in the forest in the daytime. I was walking around, searching for clues for where the next limbs or even head could be when I heard the sound of conversation. Oh. They're together. Okay. I followed the noise and found the oddest pair, a rabbit and the cat. The rabbit seemed upset. On the contrary, the cat was grinning deviously. That's the Hatter. The rabbit made an indignant smile. Hatter? That Mad Hatter? She's more kooky than the bird. A real nuisance. The only silver lining is how, now that rat and hare are out of the way, she's become more of a recluse. Wait. Oh. Are the rat, dormouse, and the March hare, were they real and were they killed? My ears are still ringing from the time I had to pull peasants off the street to sing for royal guests. Why rabbit, Jesus? She sneered. The courts have stopped working. The kingdom's falling into anarchy. We've got filth on the ground left and right. Up and down, too. Oh shit, I'm giving them the same voice. But in my head, I think I'm not. I'm still trying to give the White Rabbit a timid voice. But with the thing she's saying, it's coming off like the cat. Oops. The rabbit became angry. Shut up, you damn cat. Okay. You fucking criminal pretending to be a cat. Rabbit. If you weren't so busy, I'd send the cars to chain you up and throw you back into the dungeons where you belong. The cat grinned as she taunted the rabbit. Scary threats from a rabbit. Listen up. Your name is still on top of the list for execution, cat. Don't think you can do whatever you want. Now, I've got to... Alice! Erp. The White Rabbit made a puking sound. The blood drained from her face when she met my eyes. She looked terrified. The Cheshire jeered. Hello. Would I interrupt the conversation? no, not at all. Hello, Alice. I hope you weren't too loud. The cat and I were just making some small talk. How have you been? Well enough. And you? Well enough as well. Well. What about me? Well, are you well? It depends. I'm Cat. The cat's punchline met silence. Alice, why didn't you laugh? That was funny. Are you two friends? The rabbit frowned. No. The cat grinned. Yes. Okay, that was funny. Our circles rarely overlap. We only happened to meet and talk today by coincidence. The cat made a mock frown. I'm hurt, Bunny. I thought we were friends. Cheshire Cat, please refrain from giving me unsolicited nicknames. The cat smiled. Bunny? You two seem to get along. No, not really. They didn't seem to get along at all. I just liked how the white rabbit thought that she could lie straight to my face about what they were talking about before. Lie. That was what the Queen's courtiers ought to do. Hilarious. After a short freeway chat, the white rabbit pulled me to the side for a private conversation. I have an invitation for you, Alice. Oh, for me? The white rabbit reached into her coat, retrieving an envelope from an inner pocket. She held it out to me. Oh, the Duchess, all right. Also, yeah, there are more characters in the story. There should be the Duchess, the twins, the walrus and the carpenter, if they're still included. And what else? Will we meet the Jabberwocky? I don't know. The Duchess has invited you to her endless party. If you're interested in attending, it is and will always be held at her manor. I took the outstretched invitation. When is it? She gave me a smile. On and on and on, indefinitely. Ever since Her Majesty has gone missing, the Duchess has been holed up in her manor, holding a grand ball, day and night. Oh, goodness. Oh, that's not a good time. If I didn't know better, I would think that she was celebrating. The rabbit frowned as she looked into the distance. But she wouldn't be so foolish. I see. Thank you for the invitation. Tracing an oddly familiar wax seal upon the envelope, I fiddled with the invitation in my hand. I wondered where I had seen it before. The rabbit smiled. I live to serve, Alice. What a relief. A burden has lifted off my shoulders now that this invitation is delivered. If it pleases you to attend, I hope you have an enjoyable time. The Duchess certainly knows how to throw parties. In the nobility of Wonderland, how to party. I tucked the invitation away. The rabbit smiled, a distant look in her eyes. ... Is there anything else? Her attention returned to me. No, that is all. I won't bother you any further. Please excuse me, Alice, and have a nice day. Bowing her head a few times, she made her way away and soon was out of sight. So what I'm getting now from the White Rabbit's actual nature is that anyone associated with the Red Queen, I think it's pretty obvious. Anyone associated with the Red Queen she'll respect, but anyone below or anyone against, which is basically everyone else besides Alice, she just downright spits at, which is an interesting take. Yeah. And off she goes. The cat's eyes narrowed with a grin. We were talking about something too. That White Rabbit, she only cares about the Mad Queen. Her grin became mischievous. I've got a little secret about the Red Queen. Just a bit of gossip. Do you want to hear? Certainly. I was in a bit of a stump trying to find the rest of the Red Queen. The first two pieces came along quite easily, as if delivered on a silver platter. But now I had to find some more clues. I waited for the cat to speak again, glancing at her flickering tail. She gestured for me to come closer. Okay. When I moved in, she flicked me sharply on the forehead, causing me to recoil in surprise and stumble back. I never said I would say. Damn it. Try finding me later, Alice. Before I could respond to her provocation, she disappeared into thin air, leaving a grin floating before me for a short moment more. That is, if you can. Oh, I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice her face. With a flicker, the grin too vanished. ... What did the rabbit call her again, Alice? I ran my fingers through my bangs and sighed. Looking around, I was alone on my search again. Do I want the limbs? Or do I want to check out the party? There's no quick save. Damn it. I have a feeling that there will be a limb in the party. Because of what I remember. Okay, actually, I don't remember much about the Duchess in the real Alice in Wonderland story. But in American McGee's Alice and Alice Madness Returns, the Duchess is a cannibal. So, maybe. I wish I had quick save. You know what, let's go check out the party. Yeah. I took out the invitation that the White Rabbit had delivered to me. I have a feeling that there's a limb there. Because the Cheshire only says that she has gossip. So, or maybe there is also a limb with the Cheshire. I don't know. Dang it. Where are we right now, by the way? Wait, no. Oh. Okay, we're already on chapter 2. Alright, good. Running my fingers against the paper of the envelope and the imprint on the wax seal. Some sort of animal. I tore the invitation open. Inside, I found a card and read it to myself. Alice, the Duchess requests the honor of your presence at her ball. Today, tomorrow, time eternal. The Duchess's estate, the manor. You are required to bring a companion. Oh. Flipping the card over, I noticed something of a crudely drawn map. I followed the lines on the map and somehow pinpointed where I was in relation to the manor. I held nothing to bring to a party, nor did I have a readily available guest. I pondered about whether I should go or not, seeing as that I could put it off indefinitely. But with the Red Queen's part still missing, perhaps someone there would know. A duchess should have been close to the Queen, for example. That at least the trucers had mentioned. Yep. As for the +1, my mind wandered to my few human acquaintances in Wonderland. Now this I definitely have to save. I think they are both good options. They're both not directly in contrast nor in alliance with the Red Queen. I have to be a little bit practical and go for the one with the path of least resistance. So maybe nobility knows nobility, so let's go with the White Queen. Hatter's tea time. I got the question mark from there. I invited the White Queen, feeling that she would be most fitting a guest to a noble's ball. I found her in her garden. She gave me a pleasant smile. White Queen, won't you accompany me to a ball? She appeared contemplative. A small frown adorned her features. I will attend if you'd like me to. I'm not much for parties, but just this once with you will be alright. Oh yeah, I forgot. She's more of a loner, just like me. Oh yeah, and Hatter would be great at parties. But no, nobility with no nobility. So I think this is the more practical solution. To whose ball and when? The Duchess's ball. The White Rabbit gave me an invitation to what she claimed to be an endless party. I dug out the invitation and let the White Queen see. The White Queen smiled. The Duchess's ball. Then we should be in no hurry. Alice, would you like to try on a dress? Yes. It seems fitting, for we are going to a ball, but you might not have one as you aren't from around these parts. I think I already forgot what the White Queen's voice should be. She seemed excited. At my nod, she had a whole wardrobe of dresses and accessories brought out and let me try them on. Lace and frills, silk and cotton, ribbons of various colors and glittering gems. What a variety! Not a single thing had been touched or worn before, as if unwanted gifts. They were pretty, but not quite her. The White Queen looked a bit shy, a bit amused. I might understand why children like to doll up pretty girls. I'm not particularly... We tried a number of different outfits. I changed into the next dress, a red dress. Feeling the comfortable fabric on my skin, I trolled around to feel the dress. The White Queen appeared hesitant, sad even. Red suits you, Alice. Oh, more clues, more clues. It does, doesn't it? ... For a moment her gaze went far, far away. But perhaps not today. Good call, Alice. Must I wear a dress? I did not plan to be here for long enough to deal with the consequences, even if I particularly offended anyone. My plan was, and continued to be, to gather the Red Queen to leave. Therefore, if it would realign her gaze, then I preferred not to wear a dress. No, you need not worry about a dress. If you would prefer not to, the Duchess won't be bothered. She smiled. I did say that I could see the future, did I not? Let me reassure you of that, Alice. She too seemed relieved that I chose not to wear this dress. The dress must have been tailored for someone special, as it didn't match the White Queen at all. Dude, Alice, it should be obvious. I changed back to my own clothes, feeling my cloak snug around me. This suits me best. In exchange for that fun, will you allow me to do your makeup? Okay, real me would never be able to handle makeup at all. But if Alice can do it, then I'm very impressed. I don't see why not. Fairy servants lugged over a makeup kit, bowing to me and her as they set it down. I looked at her face, the curve of her jawline, as she puffed her lips. Seeing her up close, I felt a little flustered because she was so pretty. Okay, sorry. With the tools given, I traced over her features. Alice, was she not already perfect? What was there to even cover up and make more beautiful? Truly, this was my white bird. Whose? Not wanting to ruin her features, I drew very little on, only dusting a little layer of blush on her cheeks. My hands hesitated. The whole while, she smiled. She shifted when the brush tickled her. Fiddling with the makeup tools, I retreated. That should be all. I didn't poke you, did I? I felt not a thing at all, Alice. You are... mali. I felt not a thing at all. Alice, you are in fact a very gentle person. Maybe. A fairy servant brought her a mirror, called with a simple gesture from the White Queen. Looking upon my handiwork, I found that she looked no different from before, pretty and white. Still, she seemed pleased. As I decided not to dress up, the White Queen chose to do the same. Shall we go? I extended the hand toward her. Nice, Alice. The White Queen looked sheepish. Certainly. She called a carriage, a pretty crystal thing whose coachman sat invisibly with but a shadow. The horses too were nowhere to be seen, like fairies. We entered the carriage, and off it went. I looked outside the window, seeing familiar yet unfamiliar scenery, some places I had never passed by, even when coming to her garden. The Search for the Red Queen. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here. We'll save the Duchess party for the next one. But yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I'm having fun. It's been a while since I got to really dig deep into a visual novel and an LGBT one of that. So if you'd like to see more of this playthrough, I suggest subscribing at least to see this every Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if you would like to see me do more visual novels in the future as well, it would help, because the current goal is to get 500 subscribers to get the community tab open so we can pick and choose games for the future. So yeah, and I do have a lot of visual novels as well that I want to play. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.